Okay, well, Lucifer here. I've basically been debating people on 4chan for the past few hours, and I know that's a hell of a way to make my opening statement that basically makes most people either close the browser or immediately dive for their keyboards to call me a faggot. Well, I'm going to hopefully get through to those of you that don't immediately spaz out and try to get my argument across, or a little thing across about the whole sort of abortion argument or abortion debate. You see, and how ludicrous it is that how ludicrous the current abortion laws are in terms of up until when it should be legal, basically. So if you don't know, I mean you probably do, but just in case you don't know, in just about, I think it's all throughout the UK, or throughout most of the Western world in general, the United States and Western Europe, abortion is completely legal up until, well, I'm tempted to call it murder instead of abortion, but for the sake of not rustling any feathers too early on, keep calling it abortion. Um, it's basically legal up until 24 weeks. Now this is apparently when they sort of finally deem it a recognizable human being or so, scientific fact apparently, and I just wanted to note that's kind of complete bullshit, really, because with no solid ground behind it. Because the thing is, from the moment that that child or that baby is conceived, it's going to become a human being unless prevented from doing so, violently. Now there are those of you that'll argue, well, I had one person on 4chan actually say this to me, which was, he was all like, well, it's not. Actually, this is on YouTube, not 4chan. He said, well, it's not definitely going to become a child at that point. There are miscarriages, a high amount of miscarriages. The chances are it's going to be a miscarriage. He's pointed out some statistics and a study done, and I was like, well, if we're operating from that logic, that it might die of natural causes and therefore not become a child, so that negates my point. You should keep in mind that a child can be miscarried at pretty much any point during the pregnancy. Hell, I mean, it can die during childbirth, so do we just not consider it my argument at all up until after it's, born? I mean, if we're just operating from that sphere of logic, it makes no sense. I mean, there's always a chance that nature will stop it from being born. It can die during childbirth. It can die at any point during the pregnancy. So I just wanted to say that using the argument that, well, there could be a miscarriage before 24 weeks is complete bullshit, and it doesn't negate the fact that it's going to become a child unless prevented from doing so, be it naturally or manually. But anyway, getting back onto my point, the whole thing about not being able to abort up until 24 weeks is complete bullshit, because right up until childbirth, just at any point, right after it's conceived, it's going to become a child, no matter what you do. It might not look like a child before 24 weeks or so. It might look more like a child at 9 months or something, or behave more like a child at 9 months, but regardless of that fact, whether you're murdering it or destroying this fetus, the word they often use to, sort of dehumanize it and make it seem like, oh well, that thing's not a human. We don't want to think of it as a human being, even though it, it really fucking is. So we'll just call it that anyway. So whether you kill it at 9 months or whether you kill it within the first month of it being conceived, that thing's going to be a child anyway. So there's no point in having a limit up to which you can abort it and then not having anything after that, because whether it be before 24 weeks or after 24 weeks, you're still preventing this thing from becoming born and becoming a child. Well, I mean, it is a child, but from being born and then living its life as a human being outside the womb. So it's equal. Aborting it before 24 weeks doesn't make it any less immoral. And to think otherwise is complete bullcrap. It makes no sense. So yeah, I just thought I'd sum that up. Basically, I've been having to bring this all up in a lot of debates and stuff. I've been participating in, not face-to-face debates, of course. Otherwise, I shit my pants. But over interwebs. And I just wanted to transmit it across in video form, maybe just in case you want to use it or something as a reference point or anything. Not that anyone's going to find me to use it as a Western point or a Western point, um, as a reference point, and even if they do, they probably won't want to, but there we go. That's it. I just wanted to say that you can't justify abortion by saying, well, before 24 weeks it looks a lot less like a it looks a lot less like a human being, so therefore we don't have to think of it as a human being. It's bullcrap, and it really has no basis in reality. So yeah, that's it, I think. Hopefully I haven't ruffled too many feathers, but if I have, then feel free to debate me, bro, and I'll get my debate on. So yes, that's it.